If y'all love black people, like this, comment, and share it if y'all love black people.
Okay, so I came on this app and I saw two black women respond to this video, and I just want to say this video got me thinking about something that I've been thinking about lately, in that I don't take dating advice from white people, particularly white women. And I feel like a lot of women of color, especially black women, can relate to this. When you tell white women about how hard it is to date and how, like, your self-esteem, and they're like, oh my god, no, queen, you're so beautiful, like, look, you could change your hair, you could do so much, I'm jealous of you, look at your skin. And it's like, sweetie, you are the beauty standard. Why are you telling me not to worry? And like, there's some like white women creators, especially here based in New York City, that give dating advice, and I'm just like, hello, hello. We cannot relate. We are not running the same race. And then they'll be like, patriarchy, and it's like, bitch, I'm black.
Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Reese's Puffs.
Hello, I'm a fat little fatty, and this is what I ate today. For breakfast, I had a tofu scrambled burrito with spinach and ketchup. For lunch, I had a chia squeeze pouch in the work utility closet because I didn't get a break and I didn't want to get caught eating food. I had this jar of blueberries and some black rice crackers and these buffalo bean snacky, they're crispy, I don't know. Ooh, peep that cat hair covered shirt. I had a sandwich, a tofurkey sandwich. I had a chocolate soy milk and another chia squeeze pouch because I was running errands and I got hungry, so I had that. I got an Impossible Whopper because why the fuck not? Those were so good. And when I got home, I made some spicy kimchi tofu soup with kale. Bye, love you.
Y'all, I had drinks the other night. I don't know when it is. I'm in a constant time warp with this guy. This goes down in the books. Talked about himself the entire time. Not even good stories. I know about every conference I think he's been to in 20 years in every city. And heaven forbid I'd been to that city and had something interesting to add. He looked at me like, why are you talking? And here's me. May as well take off my glasses. I don't need to see that disdain. And also, the only reason I'm still here is because this cocktail's good and I'm not done sipping it. And also, boy, bye. Do you know he had the audacity to get cold? It's California in August. It's not cold where I live, ever. And also, he had me buy several $100s, which was not clear in his profile picture, but guess what? Who fucking cares? Like, here's the thing. You're either a good person with a good heart, regardless of your size, or you could have a banging body, not what was going on with him, and an ugly heart, and guess what? You're ugly. You're ugly. So here's me having as much grace as I would want someone to have when they like lay eyes on me, because life's hard, y'all. Pandemics are hard. And a body is just that. It's a body. It is a fraction of, as in a small part of, one portion of what's going on here. I've got a banging brain. I've got a soul and a spirit that love fiercely. I've got emotional intelligence out the wazoo most of the time. Suddenly got cold and I was walking it back in my brain trying to figure out like what happened, and I was like, oh, I mentioned my kids. I'm not looking for a baby daddy. I have one of those. My kids have a great dad. I'm not looking for a roof over my head. Look, there's my ceiling fan. I'm good. Okay? I am interested in people who make my life better. Good conversation, fun, tacos, right? We've established that. And people with beautiful hearts. And so if you don't bring something to this that's better than what I can offer on my own, boy, bye. Not gonna miss ya. Take that shit and go. Bounce. Okay? You go to
Used to think I would tell stories.
Bethany? Yes, great, come with me. Please take your shoes off and get on the scale so we can grab a weight. I would like to not get weighed today, but it's our policy. I understand, but getting my weight is really triggering for me, and due to my history of disordered eating, I just can't see it. Thank you for understanding. Okay, no problem.
I saw this statistic this morning. It only takes 10% of men to change rape culture. How is this possible? The scientists use computational and analytical methods to discover the tipping point where minority belief becomes a majority opinion. And in order to make a significant cultural change, it only takes 10% of men changing their attitudes and behaviour to influence the majority of men. But do you know what that means? That means less than 10% of men now are doing something to battle and change rape culture. Less than 10%. Because if it were more than 10%, then we'd see these changes in the world.
Ever seen a ghost? I was over on the bench. I was over on the bench. I was over on the bench. I was sitting over on the bench. I was over on the bench. I made a salad with craisins. Hello, I'm Chip Mulaney. I'm your father. But sometimes he would be gay. Ever been to the goddamn zoo? I used to smoke crack. What's yesterday? Shut up, you're all gonna die. Street smarts. Boom, orange juice. That's life. Now I've thrown him off his rhythm. Give us some money! Stay down on the ground. Stay down on the ground, you motherfucker. Do my friends hate me, or do I just need to go to sleep? But why don't we just tell our relatives that I'm a 4-year-old boy? Hey, do you want me to kill that guy for you? I am now gross.
You guys are just giving me free content at this point. This commenter thinks that people that are clearly overweight are using body neutrality and positivity as an excuse to lead an unhealthy lifestyle. The first problem here is that you are assuming that shame and guilt are the only ways that a human can motivate themselves to do anything. Yeah, that can work sometimes, but that's not the only way to motivate yourself. Research actually shows that people that are lower in scores of self-objectification are more consistent with their exercise routine. Meaning they're not worried about what they look like, they just want to feel better in their own body. It's kind of more of a love the process type mindset. Second point is, doctors that focus on their patients getting healthier and feeling better have better health outcomes than doctors that focus on weight. Third point, weight doesn't equal health. Let's get a little bit more specific, body fat percentage doesn't equal health. And my fourth point is, people are allowed to love themselves whether you think they're worthy of it or not. So when I see comments like this, what I really hear is, I don't like myself, so I'm gonna tear down a vulnerable group of people that society already kind of doesn't like to make myself feel better. The science isn't on your side, buddy. Do better.
We've all heard the studies. Fat people are more likely to have heart disease than thin people. So that means that fat people are unhealthy, right? Wrong. You know what else leads to heart disease? Lack of medical care, stress, and dieting. And you know what's really fucking stressful? Not having access to medical care, clothing, or fair pay, which fat people deal with on a daily basis. And what are we told to do if we don't like how we're treated? Take a guess. We are told to lose weight and to go on a diet. So it almost seems like fat people are more vulnerable to heart disease because of fat phobia, not because our bodies are a disease. But, you know, keep telling yourself that you're not going to die of a heart attack before you're 40 just because you don't look like me. You know, if that's what makes you feel better. Go ahead.
Revealing clothes don't sexualize you, in the same way that modest clothes don't desexualize you. Patriarchy sexualizes you. Misogyny sexualizes you. They just blame it on your clothes to blame you for their sexualization of you and to control what you're wearing. The miniskirt is not the cause of sexualization, and the hijab hasn't stopped it. Wear whatever the fuck you want, but don't ever wear the burden of oppression. The systemic sexualization of women is never about the clothes. Never was, never will be.
Structural oppression is upheld by two things, interpersonal oppression and internalized oppression. And internalized oppression upholds interpersonal oppression. So if you are a person with one or more marginalized identities who's committed to dismantling any type of structural oppression, your commitment needs to be grounded in inner work. Because how you treat yourself, how to talk to yourself, and how you see yourself are all part of what is holding up the structural oppression. So if you have internalized voices of your oppressors, and that is the standard by which you're trying to measure yourself, also that's how you regulate yourself, those are adding to the structural oppression. So for example, if you hear a joke and it's not funny to you and it doesn't feel right to you, then it is not right to you. The voice that enters right after that feeling of something not being right to you, that tries to rationalize away the harm, like, oh, but he didn't mean it, like, oh, but he's well-intentioned, is the internalized oppression dedicated to keeping you away from speaking up and being part of the change. That's why honoring yourself is critical to dismantling structural oppression.
McCloskeys are up in Kenosha supporting Kyle Rittenhouse at his trial. And if that name didn't ring a bell, it's these two assholes who gained notoriety in St. Louis after waving guns at peaceful protesters who walked past their house. Which, by the way, if you're ever wondering what happened to them, the asshole Missouri governor pardoned them. But all I'm gonna say is, if the McCloskeys are on your side, you're on the wrong fucking side. Rittenhouse is guilty as fuck.